Call to order. The time is 9:35, and we're going to start with our roll call.
Markham.
Here.
Miller.
Here.
Taylor.
Here.
Smiley.
Here.
Whiteford.
I am here.
Johnson.
Present.
Smith Charles.
Present.
You have quorum.
Wonderful. Let us stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and Commissioner Miller, would you lead us, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next up is item 4 on the agenda, approval of the minutes dated January 15th, 2025. I'll take a motion. Moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Smiley. If there is any discussion, now's the time. Seeing no one indicating a desire to speak on this, we will go ahead and prompt the vote to approve the minutes.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. That motion carries. Leads us into item 5, the approval of the agenda. If it looks good, a motion to approve, moved by Commissioner Taylor and support by Commissioner Markham. Wonderful. Let us, everyone happy with the order? Speak now, forever hold your peace. Seeing none, I will go ahead and prompt the vote.
Seven yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. Motion carries. This is our public comment, number 1 for today. We will discuss in a non-binding open meeting way. Maybe Amy or Susie or someone will just inquire with you all if we feel the need to still have 2 public comments for our beloved EDI, best committee of all. Only second to finance, as I always say. And if you guys think that would be appropriate, maybe we can have some conversation about that through our staff to make it legal and appropriate. But in the meantime, is there anyone here who'd like to speak at our first public comment? You have 3 minutes, and it's related to items on the agenda. I don't see anyone moving to the front to speak to this committee, so I'll go ahead and close our first public comment. Next is item 7, communications. You can see we have 4 here, and we will receive and file with obvious opportunities for dialogue if need be. Could I get a motion
Make
to
a motion to receive and file.
receive and file 7A, B, C, and D? Support. Moved by Commissioner Whiteford, supported by Commissioner Taylor. And as you can see, items are in your packet for those purposes. If anyone has any specific questions.
I see some, Madam Chair, I see some folks on
Yeah.
the screen that are here for.
They are wonderful to be here. Typically here, in case commissioners have questions, they're not technically presenting or reporting. But if you have any specific, sure.
My thought was we have new commissioners on economic development and new commissioner.
Yes.
And I wonder if the Project Diamond folks would give them the 3-minute elevator speech, but.
Sure. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Ray. Please go ahead and introduce yourselves and maybe a little teaser about what's in your communication.
Yeah, sure. So, hello everyone. My name is Eric Davis. I'm the Chief Operating Officer of Project Diamond, and I also work at Automation Alley as well. So Project Diamond, we're in phase 2 of it. Phase 1 was back in 2020. There was an influx of cash from the CARES Act. And so with Oakland County and Macomb County, we distributed 250 printers to Oakland County and then 50 3D printers to Macomb County. From there, Oakland County supported a phase 2 where we've expanded the program, learning on some of the lessons that we had from phase 1. So just giving out the printers wasn't enough. We needed to provide them training, some ability to do R&D and production work once they've kind of graduated from their first 3D printer, and then also a mechanism for them to do actual business with other customers. So phase 2 is centered around still distributing 3D printers. So we're distributing 250 printers to Oakland County companies. We have a digital transformation program. So once we vetted them, once they've been approved by the board, by a select few from the Board of Commissioners, and we think they're solid candidates, they'll go through this 10-week program. They'll learn not only just the technical side of 3D printing, but then they'll also learn the business side of it, which we think is pretty critical because that's usually where manufacturers get tripped up, is figuring out what do I produce, how much do I produce, how do I design to minimize costs, improve my business, things like that. And then during that program, we grant them the printer so that way they can play around with it while they're still in training, answer any questions they may have. Now, this is all done at the Digital Transformation Center, and this is hosted by GeoFabrica. They're a partner of ours, and they've essentially carved out a portion of their facility where we've installed some higher-end 3D printers, metal 3D printers. So this is where companies can go and do some R&D work if they want to test out some of their designs. And then if they have any technical questions, they have the GeoFabrica staff they can leverage, as well as some of our staff as well. In conjunction with that, we are developing a marketplace for these companies. So this is where small to medium-sized manufacturers, and then really it'll be open up to the entire statewide ecosystem, and beyond that is where companies can buy and sell 3D printed parts, and also their what we call recipes, or essentially the build file that takes their designs and says, okay, you got to print the file exactly this way in order for you to get the quality part that you want. So, and we're working with Markforged on that primarily because they do a really good job of protecting the manufacturer's IP, which is critical for them to be able to do business. So all three of those things are kind of in play with Project Diamond. So probably quite a bit, but that's what we're doing right now. So as far as like a status update, so we've had the trainings going. We're giving out printers. We have the DTC up and running from an R&D standpoint. At some point, we'll make that a commercial operations. There's some accounting side we have to get done first. And then on the marketplace side, we have it developed, and now we're in the configuration and testing phase. So we have it's not on this update, but we're gathering a group of beta testers to have them go through, work out any bugs. So that way, when we launch it to the rest of the ecosystem, it'll be, lights out, ready to go. So I'll kind of leave it there for any questions.
Thank you, Eric. And I omitted Michael, his said economic development, so more of the umbrella level. But Michael, please give us a little bit of background for the good and the order of our newer members, and also Ray, if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, sorry, everybody. I missed the beginning of that. My audio wasn't participating on this go-to meeting, but finally got it working. But yeah, I'm Michael Abdullah from Oakland County's Economic Development Department. Ray and I are underneath Dom's department, and we are the point people for Project Diamond within the department. So we organize the interface with Project Diamond at Automation Alley, in addition to running our business development team and how we interface with the businesses in Oakland County related to Project Diamond and all the programs that we support in economic development. So we've been doing a lot of the outreach to the companies to see which ones are appropriate to take advantage of Project Diamond. And we actively outreach with our teams to be able to get people into the program. We think it's an important program, and it's something that we've been really leaning into per Sean's direction on this. So, yeah, I don't really have a whole lot else to add, but Ray is really the guy on the ground who has been reviewing lots of the applications and meeting with the companies directly. Ray has a manufacturing background, but he's on our economic development team with Project Diamond and advanced manufacturing in general. So, Ray, if you want to say a few words.
Yep.
Thank you.
Good morning, all. I'm Ray Putz from Oakland County Economic Development. Basically, my job is project manager for Project Diamond, and I work very closely with Automation Alley and in all aspects, from recruiting companies, helping them apply, vetting, and getting them into training. And coincidentally enough, I am at GeoFabrica today. I'm taking the class that all of our constituent companies that we bring in are taking. So this is week 5. So we're going through all aspects of 3D printing, teaching some design, teaching design for 3D manufacturing, advanced manufacturing. And that, so I'm in a cohort here with 10 companies right now. So we meet every week, and the training's just great. So it's going to make a big, it's going to make a big impact to our companies and that. So anyway, sometime, I know a lot of you been out here, but sometime we should have it. If you get a chance or something, we can set up times you can come through and see what we're doing out here.
That'd be great. Yeah, love it. Noted as well. Thank you, gentlemen. And so you all have the Project Diamond reports in front of you, as well as obviously our quarterly report for the advanced manufacturing. I think that would pretty much contain what you gentlemen are providing. I know Commissioner Markham and I participated recently on a call with Michael and Ray with regards to phase 2, phase 3?
Yes.
Phase two. And so as a result of that, you probably saw something in your inbox recently about sharing the good news of what we've done. And if you haven't, was it you, Michael, who initiated that email out to us all?
I did. I shared with you what our internal marketing communications team put together for Project Diamond. It's one of the glossy things that we take to companies. It's some of the things that we share at different events that we're at. Not completely related to, the events are not always completely related to Project Diamond, but when we know there's going to be manufacturers and engineers and prototype firms at the conference we're attending, we hand those out, we share them digitally. So we've given you a PDF version for which you can print in a nice color copy, or you can share out with the PDF. So yeah, it's something that we find is really important to get people just an overview of the program and then direct them how to take advantage of it. I mean, obviously, you know, we're all supporting this with tax dollars, so we want to make sure that every part of Oakland County has a chance to be aware of the program and participate in it actively. And we make sure that we do our outreach internally, but we certainly, based on the call that we had with you guys, the smaller team, we wanted to make sure that you had something that you could share out as well. If you feel like there's some company that could take advantage of this program that hasn't been reached yet, we would certainly appreciate any help you have on that front, because we want to, like I said, we want to make sure that everybody in the county that wants to take advantage of the program has an opportunity to do that.
Thank you. And I echo the same. I know Commissioner Markham, there was a segment of 8 Mile where I was hopeful for more representation. I've affectionately called it the Rust Belt, or I could call it the sod belt as well, topsoil, whatever you prefer. But all the way through to Farmington, through your district, I imagine. I don't know if Commissioner Miller touches 8 Mile at all, but does your district? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So needless to say, we want you to share it with your manufacturing friends that you might have in established relationships and encourage them to perhaps participate. All right. Thank you, gentlemen. Oh, Commissioner Johnson? I'm sorry.
No, it's okay, because I raised it, but it doesn't show me as a speaker, so I don't
see
know.
it, yes.
Okay. Hi, friends. I'd like to apologize, first of all, because I feel like you're always in my neck of the woods in Auburn Hills, but always on a day that I'm in Lansing. So let's rectify that sometime, and I'd love to view everything in person. My kind of a left field, it's actually very left field, and I'm telling myself, this meeting could have been an email. But in one of my other jobs, I'm on the board for Acorn to Oak with Susan Holliday over at Leadership Oakland. And I thought the first time we got a kid interested in 3D printing and wanted us to buy them a printer, I was like, wow, this kid is really motivated. But it has been like 3 or 4 kids every round of applications that we've gotten that are really into it. And I know that we always are like, oh, let's throw them to Project Diamond. But it is so many people that I'm wondering if there is a way, not really pertinent to right now, but is there something we should be thinking about to actually engage youth as a pipeline for this? How can, like, help me, help you, help me? What are your thoughts?
Sure, I can jump in and then Eric, you can jump in. What we've been doing lately is we've opened up our aperture of companies we're bringing in. And we're bringing in small companies that are doing training and bringing in high school kids and that to get trained. So we're trying to tap into that market right now.
Okay, cool. So keep funneling them to you and you'll know what to do with the kids. Great, I love that.
Kids.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember the application, for the kid that came through. We interviewed him. He was great candidate. I think from our standpoint, for them to qualify, is they have to have a business. So the last thing that we had standing with them was for them to work with their parents or whoever to set up some sort of entity in the state of Michigan, and then they would technically qualify for Project Diamond. So
Yeah, so that they're in Lara.
that's like the one, I guess, paperwork barrier that they would have to get through in order to qualify. But if they did that, I mean, that'd be fantastic. We've been really trying to figure out a way to bring more youth into the program. So if there's a way we can do that, that'd be great.
Interesting, cool, thank you.
You know, I have one other thing that's related to this, but not quite exactly in Project Diamond, but we obviously meet with lots of companies across the county. We've got a large Kawasaki Robotics has set up a program inside the company where they're selling at a deep discount small printers to schools and helping the young people in the school to be able to just get their hands on it, tinker with the idea of how to program a 3D printer and do experiments, with just silly little items or whatever it is they want to do, just a hands-on learning experience. So maybe if we had somebody from like an education committee, we could connect the company and somebody from the county. They've been asking for this, and I really haven't exactly known where to direct them, but maybe we can talk offline to try and connect those two dots, because they have small scale 3D printers, unlike FANUC, right, where we've got, they use these enormous robots and printers in their organization, but this is a smaller version of it, and they're robots and printers combined. So anyway, just something to talk about later.
Thank you again. And everyone, do be sure, if not already, take a deep dive into the 9-page Center for Advanced Manufacturing Quarterly Report. All right, and the item C is our Skilled and Educated Workforce and Child Care Scholarship Report, and I do see the outstanding and amazing Jennifer Llewellyn has graced us with her economic development savvy here in person. So please come to the front, share a little bit about the report and the two reports and anything else you think is appropriate.
Absolutely. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Nice to meet several of you. I'm Jennifer Llewellyn. I'm the Manager of Workforce Development here at Oakland County and the Director of the Oakland County Michigan Works Agency, so serve in both of those roles. Been with the county for 9 years. If you're not familiar with the Workforce Development Division, we serve as the administrative entity for Oakland County Michigan Works. We operate 6 Michigan Works offices in Oakland County, in Novi, Oak Park, Pontiac, Southfield, Troy, and Waterford. We serve about 150,000 job seekers each year and about 3,000 businesses. And we operate 53 different grants, primarily federal grants. Some state grants and some foundation grants as well. We're also the leadership team for County Executive Coulter's Oakland 80 initiative, which is our goal to have 80% of our adults in Oakland County earn a certificate, degree, or credential by 2030. The reports before you, the first is our ARP quarterly report through the time period of September 30th of 2024. You'll see there are several projects in there. All of our projects are on track. The one that I would call your attention to that we're most excited about is the deployment of our Oakland 80 Career and Education Navigators in our high schools. So piggybacking onto the conversation around Project Diamond, we are now in 20 high schools across Oakland County. We prioritize those high schools along with Oakland schools, looking at graduation rates, enrollment in post-secondary education, FAFSA completion, free and reduced lunches, and we have now hit our goal of all 20. Everyone about the value of post-secondary education. Supplementing the quick conversation with Project Diamond, we also handle Oakland County Manufacturing Day, which celebrated our 10th year this year. We've now had 10,000 students tour advanced manufacturing companies across Oakland County since its inception. And we're bringing that back. It's the first Friday of October each year. If you'd like to join us, I know several of you have joined us in the past for a tour. And then, of course, My Career Quest, our signature event, which is open to 8,000 high school students from across Oakland County, and that is scheduled for November 18th of this year. Also in your packet is our final report on the ARP Child Care Scholarship. Also, you may recall this was a $1.2 million investment to award 1,000 child care scholarships at $1,200 each to Oakland County families. We actually awarded 1,007 of them and have exhausted those dollars. In the packet, you'll see a couple of success stories from our families that were most impacted. 80% of those awards went to women. I think a little more than 50% went to families that were over the 300% poverty line. And I think it was around 40-ish% of, higher than that, 80% families were working families. So I'm just grateful to the support from the Board of Commissioners for that investment. We deployed that through our 6 Michigan Works offices, and it was really incredible because not only did we address their child care barrier, but we were able to have conversations about what are their plans now moving forward. We'll help you get enrolled in childcare or cover these childcare costs. But if there are other barriers to employment or education, we were able to provide the full wraparound services. So thank you for the opportunity to administer that program. It was really a great experience for our team that addressed a critical need in our community.
Thank you, Jennifer. Is there, let me just get to a better screen. Get details. I see no hands. Oh.
I'm not sure.
There's a pending hand. There we go. Mr. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
I want to make sure that I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm correct. Or correct me if I'm wrong. I want to make sure that I am right. The Navigators, you received state funding for that, correct?
Not at this time. We just applied for a grant through the new state My Leap department.
Right.
We were not the eligible applicant, but Oakland Community College was. We just received notice of approval. It's about $800,000. So our intent is once the ARP funds are exhausted at the end of '26, that will give us about 6 months longer with those navigators with the My Leap funds. To get us into the middle of 2027.
Okay.
We're also looking at other foundation funds and other programs for sustainability.
Thank you.
All right. Great. Thank you for being here and also sharing a little bit about what's been going on, keeping everyone busy and making sure we have things paid for and funded properly to support what you're doing. Thank you. Great. And then item D, I do know Ms. Laura Dodd wasn't able to be here. She's on school board duty in DC. I think it's if timing reminds me correctly, it's their national legislative time to, schlep through the hills and valleys of DC. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to her. If her contact's not in there, we will make sure you have it. And that's, again, item D under 7. So if I'm not mistaken, there's still a vote that needs to happen. All right, so we'll go ahead and prompt the vote on communications.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. That motion carries. Takes us on into item 8 under Economic Development Department recommendations. And we'll start with a motion to recommend and forward to finance the Economic Development Renewal of Oakland County Microloan Program. Moved by Commissioner Taylor, supported by Commissioner Weipert. All right, I saw Miss Belinda Turner Dubois, there she is on camera. Hello, she is you're such a champion for SEED. It's so good to see you. I appreciate that. And then Catherine?
Kathy's good. Yeah.
Kathy Rasigan.
Yep.
Welcome. It's my first time connecting with you, so I'm happy to have you here. And you're both here to discuss the renewal, so
Yes.
take it
Yep.
away.
So I'm Kathy Rasigan. I'm the Administrator of Financial Services, which is housed within Economic Development. We run two programs, but that's separate from what we're talking about today. And Belinda Turner Dubois is with me as well. What we have today is a motion to renew the county's investment in the microloan program via SEED. This will be the fifth time that the county has given money for these purposes since 2010. And then SEED administers a microloan, but partners that money up with some SBA funds in order to get the microloans out to small businesses, designated Oakland County ones only. So far, the investment that's been given has totaled $600,000. Today is $125,000. And I'm gonna turn it over to Belinda to talk a little bit more about what the actual microloan program is and what they look like.
Absolutely. Good morning. Can everyone hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great. Again, my name is Belinda Turner Dubois, and I'm the Director of Seed Lending. As Kathy mentioned, the program started for Oakland County in 2010, actually by Commissioner Dave Woodward. He brought the program to Oakland County, and Oakland County has been supporting it since then. So just a little bit of background, the SBA microloan program was authorized in 1991 to provide small loans and technical assistance to business owners who could not secure traditional funding. So, they've gone to their bank, they've gone to their credit union, and they basically told them to kick rocks. They couldn't help them. So that's where we come in, and we provide those dollars to either start those businesses or help those small businesses grow. And then they outgrow us, hopefully, and we take them to traditional lending where, they can then get those larger loans. And we repeat that process over and over and over again. And, Oakland County has supported us doing that, and we really appreciate that support. And I know our small businesses appreciate that support as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for that. And because I can rarely ever recall, what's the acronym SEED?
Yes, it stood for the Center for Empowerment and Economic Development.
Thank you. And
Sure.
And so if you need a deeper dive into SEED, you could easily Google it, but it's fascinating. And I think where we've had some disconnect, if you will, not intentionally, just by the sheer nature of maybe the word wasn't getting out, but African American and Asian American and just a diversity of population to apply for these sometimes is the hard part. So again, you're on EDI, this is a part of your job description to develop economically, to be out there in the streets to help these businesses succeed, which ultimately makes our tax base more robust. So
Absolutely.
it's a community win-win. With that, just triple checking, no speakers looking to be acknowledged right now. Commissioner Wiper?
Thank you. So the 125, and we're going to leverage this to over $1 million to help small businesses. And that 6-year repayment, is that governed by the SBA? Is that average in the industry?
It is governed by the SBA. So that's the maximum term for an SBA microloan. The term can be smaller depending on the loan size, but the maximum is 6 years.
Okay. And I know it's up to $50,000.
Correct.
Is there?
And it actually, when I started in 2010, the maximum loan was $35,000. And about 2013, 14, SBA increased that to $50,000, and it's been $50,000 since then. Our average loan size went from $13,000 to now $33,000.
That was my next question. What's the average? Is there an average?
Yes, about $33,000, yes.
And maybe Belinda, just the funds, what they could be used for includes working capital.
Yes, our preference is to purchase assets for the business, so equipment, machinery, inventory. But as Kathy mentioned, we also do provide dollars for working capital, and those things can be to help with maybe rent if they're moving into a new location. We'll, help with a couple months of rent or a couple months of insurance or a couple months of payroll if they're adding to staff.
And I know you supply some technical assistance. Is the technical assistance in their business model, or is it technical assistance transitioning them from seed to SBA?
Well, we have pre and post loan technical assistance. The pre-loan technical assistance works to get them loan ready. Because many times they want a loan, they come to us for a loan, but they're not ready. So we help get them ready. Then they become a part of the seed lending family with a loan, and we are providing them with technical assistance throughout the time they're with us.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Commissioner Taylor.
Yes, I just wanted to say, I was very happy to see this here. When I was council president in Southfield, I worked very close with Ms. Dubois. She worked with the Southfield Chamber, and education was one of the biggest things that she brought to the small businesses there. Like she said, they want to do business, but they're clueless as to how to get started and what to do. So just to give somebody money and they don't know what to do with it is not helpful. So they also added an educational piece to this. So I'm very happy to see this on here, and I am in full support of it. I just wanted to speak to the past that we've shared over the years.
Nice.
Thank you, and thank you for your support.
Is it me, or did a light bulb just go off in terms of Oakland Thrive and Seed? Do you guys at any point communicate or converse or strategize?
Absolutely, we do work together. As a matter of fact, I was just talking to them Monday afternoon about trying to work together with some customers in Pontiac. So yes, we participate in one another's events, and we do work hand in hand, yes.
Love to hear that. Well, I believe that was the last of Commissioner, no,
Should I
believe we have
refresh?
a late entry here. Just in the nick of time, Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you. I'll be fast. I think I have just two questions. So I'm relatively new here still, so I just want to make sure that I'm getting this right, because this is a program that for 2010 far predates my tenure here. So Oakland County has put in, if I'm reading this right, 600,000 totally
Since 2010.
since
Yeah.
2010 as the base. And then, but because they're loans, that's been recycled a few times because the terms are relatively short since 2010. So it's been recycled a few times. And we are just adding to that principal now with a new infusion of cash?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Is, I guess, is there and the answer is probably as big as possible, but is there like a goal that you would like the principal to be for like maximum impact? Or are we just taking some incremental steps because?
Well, the money goes to seed, they lend it out. I don't know how much is left right now to be lent out, if we know that amount right off the top of our heads.
Yes, I can actually tell you that there is no loan loss reserve right now for Oakland County for us to borrow money from SBA. When I did a presentation in Q3 or Q4 last year, I expressed the fact that, we were having some losses with deals, and that meant that some of the loan loss reserve had to go to pay those loans. When we borrow money from SBA, if the borrower doesn't pay us back, we have to go into the loan loss reserve and pay back SBA. SBA wants their money. So again, and that kind of takes us to the importance of the technical assistance and working with the businesses and, hand in hand. I mean, sometimes we have to do loan modifications if we understand that they're not able to make the payment, for a couple months. We work with them to modify that payment. But again, getting back to your question, we will borrow as much as we can with the money that is provided to us. And, yeah, we are just, again, thankful for the support you've provided. Now, it's my understanding that the total 250, not all of that is loan loss reserve. Some of it is actually for the running of the program. So do understand that as well.
Sure. No, that I get. I guess, all right, so maybe a more fundamental question. Is this a program that operates in the green, or is it a break-even program, or are we operating at a loss? I guess that's my like fundamental. I assumed one, but maybe I'm wrong.
So we are not operating at a loss. We haven't made a lot of money. It's not a program where we're going to make money, but the purpose is the numbers that have been provided, which is, 422 jobs created, 289 jobs retained, and again, dollars of almost 2.5 million. So.
Yeah, and totally supportive of the program. I'm just
Yeah.
wondering, like, since 2010, we've compounded that a few times, so we should have.
Oh, yes, yes.
And it is a loan, and there's, of course, inherent risk in any loan. And microloans tend to have additional inherent risk.
Additional risk. I will say, though, that in order to stay in the program, our delinquencies cannot exceed 15%, and we have never been there. So we continue to be in the program. And by the way, we were one of the first micro lenders in the state of Michigan. So we've been doing microloans for 40 years.
In 9 counties, is that correct?
In
Nine total counties. This money is, of course, Oakland County companies only.
Yes,
Seed
yes.
reach is greater.
Thank you. All right, all hearts and minds clear on this item. We can go ahead and prompt the vote.
Sure.
You have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. That motion carries.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Moving on then, I would entertain a motion to recommend to finance item 8B, Business Development, Carlisle Townhomes Brownfield Plan located at 204 West New York in the city of Pontiac. Moved by Commissioner Whiteford, seconded by Commissioner Taylor. Hi, folks.
Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Kristen Wilting, the Administrator of the Trails, Transportation, and Environment Group within the Planning Division. We have been busy this year with brownfield projects, so before you today for your consideration is the 204 West New York Brownfield Plan. And I'll turn it over to Brad Hansen, who oversees our brownfield program.
Good morning. This is an exciting project for a project that's probably about 1.5 miles away from here, due north. On 204 West New York. It's with our partners, the Community Housing Network, which always does great work. It's a former school site on 3.8 acres. The goal of this brownfield is to get the school down, which is no longer, it's beyond obsolete at this point. So they'll be knocking down the school and building 19 single-family homes, townhomes on the site, including a 500 square foot community center, which will have after-school programs for kids and educational opportunities, and there's also a playground being built on the site. The Community Housing Network has dedicated 8 of these units at 60% AMI, so it's going to be affordable for obtainable housing for the community. And 11 of the units will be permanent supportive housing, so 19 total units. The reimbursement request of $1.9 million in Brownfield TIF was requested and approved by our Brownfield Authority. That includes BEA activities, demolition of the school, public infrastructure improvements, and it'll be a 20-year payback period. So with that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions, comments, concerns? Commissioner.
Is that 20-year payback, is that a standard? Or is it could range from 15 to 25 or?
It seems like each project's different, but the brownfield law states you can go up to 30 years. Typically with these housing TIFs, I would say that you should expect to see longer ones, 30 years, just because there's more eligible activities being reimbursed, especially when you're looking at the financial gap loss for affordable or obtainable housing. But this one just comes in at 20 years.
And in brownfield, would they have oil tanks, asbestos, what, I mean, is it?
You know, I don't know if there's, usually with old schools, you'll find the underground storage tank for heating. I don't know specifically if this school had it, I'm assuming they did. But it's more the $1.9 million mostly for demolition of the school and some site prep and public infrastructure. Not much contamination, I believe, was found out there.
Thank you. Yep. Any additional comments, questions? Seeing none, the motion on the table is to recommend to finance. Madam Clerk, would you please prompt the vote?
Did you have a question? No, that's fine.
6 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you very much. That item passes. Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Oh, did you wanna do it?
No, I
It's
love
your
it.
fa- Pursuant to Public Act 381 of 1996, a public hearing on the adoption of the Brownfield redevelopment plan for the Carlisle Townhomes Brownfield project shall be held on February the 11th of 2025 at 6 p.m. in the Oakland County Board of Commissioners Auditorium located at 1200 North Telegraph Road, Pontiac, Michigan.
Wonderful
Thank you.
job.
All right, item C under economic development is our next one. It's a recommendation to the board. I'll take a motion. Moved by Commissioner Markham, supported by Commissioner Taylor. Good morning, Ms. Bush.
Good morning.
How are you?
Excellent, thank you.
Great. Well, we have actually two, but we'll just do one at a time. C, right now, economic development, aviation, transportation, airport land lease with Bark Investments LLC. I didn't read that, I should have. So let us hear a little bit about this.
Excellent, and good morning, and I'd like to introduce myself to the new commissioners.
thank you.
I'm Cheryl Bush, I am the manager of aviation for Oakland County, so I oversee the county's 3 airports at Pontiac, Troy, and Oakland Southwest, and just want to always extend an invitation for you to come out and take a tour and learn more about your aviation department here at Oakland County anytime. So
Thank you, Cheryl, and you're absolutely right. We missed you last meeting, where Commissioner Taylor and Commissioner Smiley were introduced, so you're usually with us, so
I am.
it was good for
I'm a
not having you.
regular.
All right, thank you.
Great. Well, this morning I have a land lease that we're very excited about. This is to be effective March 1st to an entity that's been on the airport for more than 55 years, I believe. And they were the successful proponent in an RFP that we offered back in December for a vacant parcel. It's our really last premium parcel along M59 at Oakland County International. And their plans are to build an impressive 80,000 square foot facility with 2 hangars and a central office, and that will house an expansion of their charter division. So we're very supportive. They're a great family-owned business that's been on the airport for many years, and this is a great opportunity for them to expand that business. So this is a 30-year lease. This is a typical template for our land leases, and all of our land leases provide for the potential of an adjustment of lease rent every 2 years.
Alrighty. So that is the information for item C. Let me just hit another button to be sure. Commissioner Miller?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The one thing I like about this is a small company growing. That's what we're all about, so I do like this a lot.
Great.
So that's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes. Thank you. All right, well then we are able to prompt the vote on 8C.
You have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you. That motion carries. And our next item is item 8D, the Economic Development, Aviation, and Transportation Sublease Agreement to Airport Land Lease Agreement with EJB-OC LLC to Corbin Aviation LLC. And this is a recommendation to the board. Can I have a motion to recommend to the board? Moved by Commissioner Smiley, supported by Commissioner Taylor.
Excellent.
Over to you.
So this is a tenant that we entered into a land lease agreement with back in 2020. They had a business plan that didn't evolve as they had planned, and so they have subleased the property to another entity on the airport not long after that original lease was set. That sublease has now expired, and in the meantime, the subleasor subleased to Corbin Aviation. So this lease now takes the middleman out, and EJB will directly sublease to Corbin, which is a small maintenance and aircraft management company on the airport, and they're a very welcome addition. So this is a 3-year term on the sublease.
Alrighty. Commissioner Smiley?
Thank you.
Yes.
This doesn't have anything to do with the sublease, just
Okay.
in case you take off too quickly, I know Commissioner Taylor and I were both interested in these tours you speak of.
Great.
We actually talked about it the last time.
Oh, wonderful.
So contact you
Yes.
to directly to see that, to arrange for that.
Yes, please do.
And I'll ask if there's any other new to semi-new commissioners, if they're interested in coming
Sure.
as well. We'll try to put it all into a group of sorts.
Yes, we would love to do that.
I think I've toured
We love
3
to.
times and I would tour again.
Oh, all right, okay, I'll make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, it's
Said
a
something.
very interesting, it's
Lydia and
amazing how much.
Lydia and I will
we really
leave that, and we'll let everyone know.
We'd be more than happy to do
But
that.
I was telling her before the meeting started, we're gonna wait till the weather gets a little nicer.
Yeah.
I don't know how much outdoor there is, but I
You
imagine
know.
there's some, so
You ought to see how big the snow plows are.
Yeah,
Oh.
might be kind of fun.
I don't want any snow around them
And
at the
and the
time.
de-icer, I'm sure each location has its own
Oh, gosh, yeah.
de-icers and stuff. But to that point, we'll definitely work through staff to kind of make it, because I think historically, there's been a tour day where we've gone and hit all 4 in a day.
Yes.
If you can't make it to all 4, you can meet them. I met in South Lyon, or is that South Lyon? Lyon Township, thank you. Little mailbox size, wonderful airport there. So yeah, for sure, we'll get on that. And if it looks like there is another question. Were you all set, Commissioner Smiley?
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you.
Alrighty, Commissioner Brendan Johnson.
Thank you very much. Super fast. So one thing that you said about the last item made me think, and now I'm looking at a map, just the satellite image, but you've probably included it once before. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. If you have a parcel map and just so that I could be familiar with how much space is left.
That's a real easy question.
Is there no space left? All right, I guess I'll follow up right now then. Are you in the business of looking for acquisition property then? Is that something to think about next, specifically with Pontiac?
Yeah. We have a parcel that is in the northwest corner that is a treed parcel that the airport owns.
I see that one.
Yeah, and that it has the potential for development. It is going to require an extension of a taxiway for access. And so we have that on our long-term plan with the state for potential federal funding to be able to extend to that area. So that is a potential, but that's going to be years before we can get that accomplished.
Right.
There is a very small, very narrow piece of property that's in the southeast corner of the airport, right at the intersection of Airport Road and M59. It had been developed many years ago and had been left vacant, and so the property needs some attention before we can make it available. And we have hired a demolition company to help us with some underground removal in the spring. So we're working toward trying to make the improvements to make that small parcel available. And I have some interest in that too, but it's not available today.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 last spots. Long-term wise, we have a cross runway 1836 that runs north and south.
Yes.
That potentially could close at some stage in the future. The FAA is no longer supporting the reconstruction and maintenance of cross runways. Formerly, they were always requiring them. Today, they're not. The funding just isn't there to support them. It's a very small runway. It's only used less than 5% of the time. And so there's a potential that in the future that runway may close, which would open up some property on the north and south side of that runway.
And if I'm correct, it removes the bifurcation of that small parcel that you were talking about from the rest of the airport, among other things.
Mhm.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, good questions. Yes, Commissioner Markham.
I just want to make the point for our new members that may not have been clearly articulated. Almost all the funding for supporting airports, for operating these airports, comes directly from the federal government. We don't really, I mean, we have some small portion that Oakland County taxpayers pay for, but it's like 95% of our funding comes from the feds.
We are 100% user fee airport.
Right.
So the folks that use the airport fund the operational expenses, but most of the infrastructure and development, the big dollars are all federal and state fund.
Good to know. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And
Yes,
just for
Commissioner
a point of reference, we have the oldest airport. Isn't it
Number one.
We're the first certificated
certificate, yes, first certificate, I'm
airport
sorry, yes.
in the country by the former FAA.
That's what it was, yes.
Certificate 0000001.
Thank you, Commissioner Miller. Great reminder.
And we're also the second busiest airport at Pontiac in the state of Michigan, so we don't wanna drop that
Yeah.
little nugget either.
It's a lot to be proud of.
Yeah.
All right, well, I believe we have a vote still to take, so seeing no other hands, we'll go ahead and prompt the vote on item 8D.
You have 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Thank you, that motion carries. Thank you,
Thank you very
Cheryl.
much.
Keep up the good work.
Appreciate your support.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that takes us to item 9, which is our second public comment, where speakers are able to address this committee on any topic. Is there anyone here who would like to address this committee on any topic? 3 minutes, max. Seeing no one making their way to the front of the room, I will close that second public comment. Is there any other business to come before this committee? Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.
Less than an hour.
Time flies.
Thank you.